Testing. I think you're totally right. I always forget. I always turn down my mic when I'm setting up, and then I forget to turn it back up. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Adam. All right. So from here, I'm just going to take this Rain of Fire. We're going to try and build a more aggressive deck this time that deals damage to the opponent. So we've got Flash Fire, Lightning Storm, and Fire Shaman very early on. And I'm thinking we can just take more direct damage cards. Alright. So from here, I really like having a way to deal with my opponent's cards in their discard pile. So I'm probably going to take this Grave Demon. Aside from that, what do we think our opponent is doing? I don't know. We haven't really passed them anything that really should sway them in a specific direction. I think that what they would have taken at this point is a lot up to personal preference. So it's Force Mage, Apprentice, or Dracus Fire here. I think I'm just going to go with the Force Mage Apprentice. It is very nice against a lot of random 2-health champions, so it's just a nice card to have a lot of the time against things like Muse and Thought Blocker. Alright, so here I'm going to take the Cave Troll. This card's great when you're very heavy into green because whenever it dies, you can get it back when you play a wild card. So aside from it just synergizes very nicely if you have a lot of wild cards, which I think we will in this deck. It also helps you against discard. So if the opponent plays Sonic Assault or Thought Plucker, one of those types of cards, then this card, you can discard it and then get it back to your hand later. Alright, so here I am not too super duper excited about any of these. I think War Machine's actually better than it looks. And then so it's Lurking Giant or Courageous Soul. I think I'm just going to go heavy on the green and take the Lurking Giant. I'm not really the biggest fan of Courageous Soul. I think it leaves a lot to be desired. It's the kind of card that has its moments, but a lot of the time you just play this as a 0 cost, block a big attack. And I'm trying to find something that's more than that. So here, for me, I really want to take Priestess of Angeline. That's the card that sticks out to me the most. 0 cost champions with Recycle are really safe, especially when you don't have very much Recycle. I just have the one right now. Even if I can't use the other ability. Arcane Research is also good, but I really like getting a body out. Alright, so here I'm going to take Pyrosaur and Frantic Digging. Now, Pyrosaur is great in a wild deck because you get the Tribute and the other effect immediately. So you play this, you loyalty to it, and then you deal 2 damage to your opponent and each of their champions, and then it attacks and does that again. And I think what a lot of people overlook about Pyrosaur is that it deals damage to the opponent directly. So this is 4 damage to the opponent, and then they have to deal with it and to all of their champions. Frantic Digging, also maybe we can get some synergy with Frantic Digging and our Cave Troll here. That would be a cute little combo that we can aim for. So I think in this pack, now Spike Trap and Strafing Dragon are both good. I think I'm going to go with the Strafing Dragon. I don't have a lot of targets for Spike Trap, and also I can play around it. The one nice thing about passing Strafing Dragon is my opponent won't think I'm in wild. So that's the main reason why I would take Spike Trap, potentially. But I'm going to take the Strafing Dragon. Hi. Hi, Cash, and Snowgling. I hope I'm saying that right. You're very welcome. Personally, I just like having a time to play, and I hope that I get some more constructed challenges today because I'd really love to try building a new deck and playing against people with it. Probably going to take the Rax's Displeasure here. The reason that I like both of these, so I think Angel of the Gate is underrated. I think I've said that before. It's just an ambush airborne champion, so it's very hard to block, and then it gains you health, so the sustain is really important versus a lot of decks. I'm probably going to take Go Wilds here. Let me see if I have any on-turn plays that I like. It might be better to take the Gudgeon. But Go Wild is just so strong in this type of deck, I think I'm just going to go for it. Yeah, I like Go Wild a lot. I'm really liking this new functionality where you can just leave the cards that you have selected, and the timer runs out, you hold on to them. So much better for explaining. Angel of Light might be doable in this deck. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the Faithful Pegasus, or Standard Bearer. I mean, I kind of like Angel of Light a lot. I like airborne champions. They're very good with airborne ambush champions are very good with direct damage because you can so frequently just push damage through. So in a vacuum, I think surprise attack is very strong, generally speaking. But it also, you really want to have lots of champions to take advantage of it. I don't think my one cost champion density is very high here. I think I have 4 or 5, and a lot of them already have ambush. So I'm just going to take amnesia. It's always nice to have ways to interact with your opponent's discard pile in Dark Draft. In Constructed, you can sometimes just get away with ignoring those. So I think that the safe pick here would be Citadel Scholar Urgent Messengers, a 0-cost champion with Recycle and just a draw 2 with an extra effect. I think Rampaging Worm is a card that I have been blown out by Rampaging Worm a lot because I just assume my opponent didn't take it. And Hasty Retreat is a card that will save you from stuff like Rampaging Worm. So both those cards I don't pick very highly, but they're safety nets. They're very swingy, so sometimes Hasty Retreat is amazing, and sometimes it sits in your hand and does nothing. Same thing with Rampaging Worm, really. Alright, we're going to take probably Dark Knight. I mean, Inner Demon's also pretty reasonable, or Apocalypse. But I already have 2 board wipes, so I don't need another one that badly. And I really like antagonizing my opponent in a deck with a lot of direct damage. Like if we go to 0 cards in hand, we can probably kill them with Lightning Storm or something along those lines. Alright, so we are getting a lot of recycle. But I'm also not very excited about Jungle Queen or Peros in this deck. I'm also not very excited about Sonic Assault though. Alright, we're going to take these 2. Sonic Assault, you really want to have multiple Sage cards to trigger it. I think I have 1. I think I just have the Ogre Mercenary. No, not the Ogre Mercenary. Man, these are both... This entire pack is amazing. I want every card in this pack. Erratic Research is the card I want the least. I think Raging T-Rex is the card I want the most. Scaros, I also really want. And same thing with Fireball. But Zombie Apocalypse, I also really want. These are all... Yeah, no, Sonic Assault is the kind of card that you want to play when you are already ahead. It's like the nail in the coffin. So it's really amazing. I'm actually going to take Brachiosaurus and Hunting Raptors. Sword Beast is situational. It's really good against certain... it's like Hasty Retreat, basically. But Brachiosaurus is effectively free, and it synergizes really well with ally abilities because you get to use it again. Yeah, Sonic Assault, yeah, basically, it's really good in the type of deck where you're so efficient with dealing with your opponent's stuff that you need something to do that isn't just putting things on the board. Alright, so we don't really want Dark Offering, so the enemy's going first. We also don't really want Frantic Digging in our opening hand. And I think it would also be a mistake to hold on to Lightning Storm in the opening hand, or Grave Demon, probably. It's nice to have ambush champions, but I don't think Grave Demon is quite where we want to be. So I'm just going to mulligan all 4 of those. I'm keeping Flash Fire because it's a draw 2. And this hand is very nice. We have the Strafing Dragon, which is what we'll probably do on our opponent's turn, and then we'll lead with Jungle Queen after attacks. And might mix up depending on what the opponent does. Alright, so they're just going to pass. That's perfectly fine. So we have a couple of options here. I could actually Dark Knight Attack and then pass, especially against someone that is really cautious. But I think I'm going to hold on to the Dark Knight for a bit and play it when my opponent clears the board. I think it'll be my opener after a board clear. It's a little risky to play Dark Knight onto an empty board and attack at the beginning of the game because you can run out of cards really easily. This card is also a lot stronger if we have Go Wild available. Alright, so it looks like they also took some wild cards, so that might be where many of the wild cards went that we were missing. The way I see it, Dark Knight, you can always get in for 5 with Dark Knight at some point during the game. unless you're really afraid of dying soon, there's going to be a turn where you're going to get to attack with Dark Knight when your opponent doesn't have any blockers. So the question is, when do you want that to be? Usually you want to play it when you don't have it, when there's no champions on the board, or when your opponent has many more champions than you. They're thinking about something. Maybe they're thinking about removing this and then attacking. Some people are really afraid of Jungle Queen because it can be very gross if if they attack and then I just drop down a Raging T-Rex or something like that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to block with this Jungle Queen and then pass. The way I see it, if I have to just Flash Fire, if Flash Fire kills that Pyromancer, then that's a good trade. Maybe they're thinking about Brave Squire or something. The only play that would make a lot of sense right now would be Blue Dragon, since it deals 2 damage to my champion, and it costs gold, or Rax's Enforcer, maybe? Alright, Juggernaut. Juggernaut Attack. Interesting. This tells me that they're a very aggressive deck. I don't know what their strategy is. If I take 9, I go down to 13, which is a bit low, but I think we're okay with that. I could Strafing Dragon, shoot their Pyromancer or them, and then go wild it without recycling, and block with my 11/11. But I want to know what the point of this attack was with Pyromancer. Alright. I don't know yet. We're going to keep the Go Wild the secret. And I think I'm just going to I'm just going to shoot them so that I can get value out of the Flash Fire if they decide to finish this Jungle Queen off. If they decide not to, that's also fine. Right now we have 12 on the board, so they're going down to 11. Alright. Let's see if they do anything. If they don't do anything about either of these attacks, then that puts them at 11, and then Dark Knight plus Go Wilds after blocks is lethal. Oh, Fireball? I guess. Oh, there's a Spike Trap. Alright. That is... So let's see. Now we are 7 off. So we can still win. If we... What? Jungle Queen Dark Knight is 10. Plus Go Wild is 14. Plus Flash Fire is 16. Plus Rain of Fire is 21. Did I miscount something? 5, 10, 14, 15, 16, 21. Huh. I guess we are off. Well, I think it's still worth attacking here. Let's do this. 3, 4, 5. Do you want to also get him for 5? Probably not. And then we'll play, that would be 9. I'm going to commit to this board a bit. Probably should have done this first. I really need to find an off-turn play. All right. All right, we found one. And Brachiosaurus is also an off-turn play if Jungle Queen survives. But I'm just guessing that the opponent is playing a very aggressive deck. So being at 11 is very dangerous. We didn't see Flame Strike or Fires of Rebellion. And I think we passed to Dracus Fire and Scaros and Fireball. So 11 is, you can die to Fireball plus Fireball, Guilt Demon. Both do 3 damage. And then Flame Strike does 8. So I could just die here. It does. It feels like they're holding on to cards that a card that deals damage. Oh wow! It feels like they're holding on to a card that deals damage, but they are choosing not to play it because they want to use it on me instead of one of my champions. All right. Well, we'll get some value out of this Brachiosaurus here. Jungle Queen value. All your wild champions have ambush. Army of the Apocalypse reanimates all champions for all players, but I didn't have any champions in my discard pile. It works very well with Juggernaut, but you don't get tributes or loyalties. Now, Vanishing works really well with Breakthrough Champions because if my opponent had Vanishing right now, they could vanish my Brachiosaurus and I would just take it out. Alright, that's fine. I'm just going to use the Rage to kill my Brachiosaurus. Alright, I'm going to just gain 3 immediately. Fortunately, we don't have a way to spend our extra wild gold. Oh, looks like they're going to scoop it up. Yeah, if I just attack with everything one at a time, then I win there. But maybe I wouldn't have. I don't know what's in my hand. Alright, so yeah. So if you'd like to, you know what I'll do is I'll make a new constructed deck for today. And then I'll play that for people that challenge me to construct it. Let's make a new one. Or you know what, let's do it in this first slot. In case we could quick play with it. Oops. I think I did that wrong. That's alright. We're just going to make it in this slot. Or even, I can make it in value tokens. I can just overwrite that. Alright. Let's clear this deck. Alright. So, let's make something a little more standard. The last 2 decks I played were wacky. Maybe this one can be... We did wilds. We did a whole bunch of wild stuff. A little bit of Sage. There's that one human tokens deck. I want to do something that doesn't involve... Have we done Justice Prevails yet? I guess there was Justice Prevails in that one deck. We can make Zerkos champions. That's a kind of a off-meta deck. But it's pretty good. Or even Untargetables. Plus some kind of weird effect. I feel like Untargetables, whenever you make an Untargetables deck, that last deck. That last deck was pretty, yeah, it was pretty terrifying. We'll make something that can actually finish off the opponent, I think. not grind out the value. Grinding out the value is something I love doing, but it does make for some long games. I'll tell you that. Let's just. I'm just thinking. I'm just pondering my options right now. I don't have anything that I super am like just dying to do, but could just do like a combat-based deck with some righteous champions. It's just some way to punish the opponent. Some kind of good sage probably tempo deck with balance effects and some blitz punishers. Let's try that out. All right, a bounce deck. A bounce deck. A bounce could be pretty good. We can, if we want to make it really take advantage of bounce, then we got to play a lot of zero cost champions. So that's the trick. That's the secret. So let's try. We're gonna use Time Walker in this deck, all right, and reset. We're gonna start with both. Usually you don't need to play 3 copies of each. These are effects that return all champions to their owner's hand. But we're gonna start with 2 copies of each. And what you really want to do in this type of deck is you play zero cost champions, and those zero cost champions do something when you play them, and then eventually you are going to try and get your opponent to spend their gold. And when they do, you're going to play the rest of your zero cost champions, and you'll play one of these, and that'll give you all of your zero cost champions back. And then if you have lethal, you'll just play your zero cost champions again and hit them again. So that's going to be the game plan for this type of deck. We are just going to focus on things like Force Mage Apprentice is a great card for this deck. So is Shadow Imp. Shadow Imp is a good card because it annoys the opponent a lot. That's the primary reason. And Keeper of Secrets is also a good choice. This Ally Recycle functions a lot like Tribute Recycle in this deck because we're going to use it when we play one of these other cards. And what's really nice about Keeper of Secrets in this deck is it gives us a way to banish opponent's cards from the discard pile that isn't an event. That's going to be our core, and I think we also want force uncomfortable discards with bounce. Yeah, this deck also can randomly discard, can randomly have huge hands, but it frequently doesn't. It usually just gets a tiny amount of cards in hand, and you try to get to a weird state in the game where you're recurring your zero cost champions. So in general, the best blitz champions for zero are in evil. So we're definitely going to play some evil cards, probably not too heavy. Stage is going to be the main focus because we want to get loyalty for Time Walker a lot. So one card that is really good to bounce is Corpse Taker. This card gets you back a champion. So you can do this kind of mini loop where you Corpse Taker and return your Time Walker to your hand. Then you play your Time Walker to get back a Corpse Taker. Your opponent can interact by just banishing the Time Walker either from play or the discard pile, but it's definitely something that is really powerful that this deck can do. So we're gonna put Corpse Taker in. I'm not sure if we want 3 copies right now, so I'm just placing 2. And then usually these type of decks always want to play one of these Blitz champions. So we have Dark Knight, Guilt Demon, and not Thrasher Demon, Little Devil are really good options because they're all Blitz champions that are difficult to deal with. Usually the problem with Thrasher Demon, oh yeah, 10 card hands. That's what happens when you play Reset and Time Walker, especially if you are playing something like T-Rex or what's it called? Misguide Herald a lot, or Necromancer Lord, where you keep putting more champions into play, but you're not. So when they get returned to your hand, then when you replay them all out, it puts more champions into play. It can just get out of control, which can be a good thing. All right. So the problem with Thrasher Demon is that if the opponent knows what you're on, they're just going to block it, and they'll lose their bigger thing, and you'll lose your Thrasher Demon, and you won't be able to replay it. So we're not going to play Thrasher Demon in this deck. I think we're going to go with some number of these Guilt Demons here. Probably we'll start with 3, and then also we want Dark Knight or Little Devil, probably Little Devil. I like Evasive Champions. Unbreakable is also nice, but we can just start with this. We can also put in two Little Devils here, and we'll see where we're at. So right now, we need to fill out our Sage 1-cost cards. So, in this type of deck, we want to put the opponent in a situation where they are trying to spend their gold on our turn before we do. So that way we can go to town here. Cards like Sea Titan and what's the other one? Sea Titan, Temporal Enforcer, and I forget the name of the other one. Oh, Erase are good calls in this deck because you can bounce your own champions with them. So you don't need to use these on your opponent's champion. You can do stuff like play a Corpse Taker and then play a Sea Titan or an Erase or something on your own Corpse Taker, or any of these Blitz champions after they attack. So what we want here is cards that make our opponent spend their gold. We also don't mind having Punishers since we're definitely going to play some type of board clear in this deck. So personally, I really like Steel Golem. I think it has the potential to do a lot, and the Untargetable is a really nice benefit. I think this card is just pretty much even just having one, so that if it's in your hand, then you can do something with it if you have a lot of Sage cards. It's just very nice for this type of deck. All right, and we're also going to play Helion. I think we definitely want ways to deal with zero-cost champions and annoying champions like Misguide Herald that we don't want to bounce. So in order to do that, we need to play cards that can deal with small targets. So we're going to play Helion here, and we're also going to play, what else? I had another card in mind. War Machine. I want to play some copies of War Machine, just so that if the opponent is on a strategy that involves zero-cost champions, we don't keep returning those to our opponent's hand. We don't want to feed those recycle cards. We're just going to put in 2 War Machines since it can be kind of awkward if you have a lot in your hand. Alright, and we need another 6. So I don't think this deck is going to have enough champions for Misguide Herald, so we're not going to play Misguide Herald. Thought Plucker is another option for a card that forces our opponent to act. And so is Ice Drake. I think this is a deck that likes Ice Drake. So we'll put Ice Drake in the deck, and we'll also play maybe some copies of Thought Plucker. I kind of want to move away from the discard theme because we did a lot of that last game, Siren Song. The thing is, I want to play a lot of zero-cost champions, and we're going to synergize a lot with that. If I want to play removal for zero-cost champions, I think the zero-cost evil cards would be a better slot for that, since the Sage ones, gaining control of your opponent's zero-cost champion, the problem with that is it really goes against our plan of bouncing everything. So if we have our opponent's Muse or something, then now we can't bounce everything, so those bounce cards become dead because they would go back to the opponent. Alright, so we're going to play, let's just put in something like, we'll try 2 Memory Spirits and 3 Thought Pluckers, I think. Not sure how many Sage cards we want. I think Thought Plucker is going to be very good in this deck, but we'll see. I think that there's not going to be very many targets for our opponent to shoot all of our zero-cost champions and Thought Plucker, so I think that'll make Thought Plucker especially good in this deck. So we're going to come back to free cards. We're going to do our evil ones. So I think for this deck, we definitely want, as is pretty common for these type of decks, it's good to have some way to gain health. And also, we're going to play No Escape. No Escape is a great card if you have a lot of zero-cost champions, because you can, on your turn, break an opponent's champion and then get back your zero-cost champion. It's one of the few ways to return zero-cost champions to your hand. Alright, and then aside from that, we are going to play just some board clears. So I think we could play Zombie Apocalypse. Could definitely be a good card in our deck. We don't have Misguide Herald, so we can play as many events as we want. Some people like to do this weird super evil where they try and play Necromancer Lord with Time Walker and Misguide Herald, and it can work sometimes. I think the problem is it's really inconsistent because you have a lot of it's hard to get your evil loyalties and your Sage loyalties, and those decks also I always see them splash Surprise Attack, and I think they're just too all over the place. I think it's really hard to support loyalty in 2 colors unless you don't mind not getting your loyalty. Alright, 1 cost champions here. Or maybe we want another board killer at least. Could play at least 1 plague. Plague seems like a pretty good card in this deck. We don't have any recycle, so I think it's frequently going to be pretty good. And also cards that have a nice enter the battlefield effect are pretty good in this deck, so we could probably play the Gudgeon or Raxa. Since Raxa's, if you don't have loyalty to, it's fine. I'm not sure if Xanos is going to be, there's going to be enough cards for Xanos to be good. I mean, we could try slotting an Angel of Death. I don't think we're going to have enough to do it. So I'm just going to play some number of Gudgeons. It's a nice on-turn play, and then I'll toss in probably just a second plague here. And then let's go over to our evil free cards. So we're good there. So we got to go over to Sage now. I don't think we need anything too crazy. I think we can just go Sage Evil. It's definitely going to be a very different deck than our last one, though. How much of a given color? I mean, something like this. I think that if half your deck is a color, then it's fine. It's just that if you were doing frequently when I don't have loyalty for a color in my hand, I'll hold on to those cards and play other ones in order to find the loyalty. So when you're trying to run a 20-20 split, then you're kind of like just on the edge. It's doable, but it means you have to play a lot more carefully. But a lot of those decks that are already being so greedy to run things like a Necromancer Lord with their Time Walkers, they have this issue where you play Misguide Heralds, and then you want to have Sage Loyalty and Evil Loyalty in your hand when you play Misguide Herald. In case you hit either one, covers the deck counts. All right, I'll move it out. I can move that. Here, I'll just slide it over for now. We'll come back. All right, like I said, yeah. So I just need another Sage 0 and a couple more Sage cards. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to just run a splash in another color, as long as you are just only having 1 color as your primary. So you can do 2 colors as your primary. You can have 2 colors of loyalty, but then it's much riskier to run Misguide Herald. So that's the main downside for decks like this, is they will always want to run Misguide Herald. They always want to run these 0-cost champions that they can't hold in their hand. They don't have as many draw 2s because their 0-costs are champions. So a deck like this can get awkward draws. We're going to play Wave of Transformation. I'm not sure if we have too many board wipes, but it'll be fine. I think I'm just gonna finish it off, and then we'll try it as it is. This might be a deck for Ancient Chant, since we might run out of ways to draw cards in our hand. So I'm gonna put an Ancient Chant in this deck and cut a 1 Memory Spirit. It can be kind of awkward sometimes. And 2 of these ways will just be a 1-off. Alright, I think we're good. And then we're going to go over to our Sage Zeros. And I mean, in general, it's perfectly fine to just start with the deck and play with it, and then you tweak it as you play. So we don't have any discard pile interaction except for this Keeper of Secrets. I'm going to place Amnesius in this deck. And then also, probably going to place... I really wish we did have... Siren Song just really doesn't work with what we're trying to do, unfortunately. Alright, let's also just put in 1 more copy of a card. So I'm going to play Haste Retreat to play around decks that have... what do you call them? Rage and Lash. It's very good against decks with Rage and Lash. Alright, so here's our deck. We are running mostly Sage and some Evil. I think we'll be perfectly fine on loyalty 2s here. And we're going to call this one Sage... Call it a bouncy house or something like that. Alright, we're all set. We got our deck. Alright. That's good. Move this back over here. All right. We'll see if there's people playing constructed right now, or even if there's. Let me see if the arena's. What is it right now? I currently have a run going. Not sure if I can. I guess I can't really abandon it. Oh wait, no. This is oh, it's sealed right now. All right. Yeah, I'll that I can also get to that later. We'll see if there's people on. I want to play with this constructed deck because we just made it, but I think that sealed is also pretty fun. I really love doing the random 60 and building a 30 card deck. All right, I'm up against Majestic Fear. Quite the name. All right, the enemy's going first. We're not going to hold on to Guild Demon, but we are going to hold on to Shadow Imp. We're also not going to hold on to War Machine. Ice Rake's perfectly reasonable. Steel Golem might be good if they pass. The other thing is we don't have a draw to. I'm also just going to toss Steel Golem, look for a better off-turn play. All right. Are the images on the deck slots random? They're pretty random. Right now, it's just based on which colors you have the most of. But we are aware that our commonly requested feature is being able to customize your deck slots. So that's coming. The pictures on the decks. All right. Looks like we're on against an evil deck. So maybe this. All right. Let's see if it's Plague, Plentiful Dead, Zombie Apocalypse. Alright, so, and they decided not to play, we're just going to show them the Amnesia, I think, since most people play Plentiful Dead really carefully anyway. See if we can get them to spend their gold first here. What I'm going to try and do is attack with this, and then play the War Machine, and attack with that. That would be ideal. If what I'm hoping will happen is I'll attack with this and they'll spend their gold on something, then interacts with it. If not, then I'm going to Shadow Imp attack and then probably just play the War Machine to banish these zombies. Alright, let's see. They do. Strain Essence will probably come in handy with taking out that Xanos. We are running a little light on card advantage. Hopefully we hit an Ancient Chant or something. Decks like this can have weird draws because your zero cost cards are all champions, so you need to make sure that you don't run out of ways to keep getting more things in your hand. It's quite possible that this deck really wants something like Muse. It just depends on what you want to tune against. If you play Hasty Retreat, which I'm playing in this deck, Hasty Retreat makes your deck much better against Rage and Lash. Against my opponent's deck here, I'm probably going to draw to with the Hasty Retreat. I don't want to Hasty Retreat things like Xanos or Medusa or Raxa. Alright, we're going to return Shadow Imp to our hand, and then we get to reveal a Shadow Imp as one of our two. We can do it in any order. The opponent has Plentiful Dead here, so I'm just going to pass, not attack. I mean, we know a lot of their hand, so it's pretty safe to attack. But the opponent might start their turn because they're worried about them playing Plentiful Dead draw 2 and then me clearing off their token and attacking. Inheritance of the Meek, interesting. So we actually know the 3 cards that they had in their hand already. One thing that is weak about their play here is I think that we're going to attack with this War Machine, and they're going to play Plentiful Dead just to make a blocker to block. And then we can Guilt Demon it. So we can get rid of that Plentiful Dead forever, which I don't think happens very often. Usually, unless you're really pressuring your opponent, they'll try to always play Plentiful Dead when they have an evil card in their hand to get the Plentiful Dead back right away. But see, their gold's spent here, so this Plentiful Dead is open season. Alright, unfortunately we don't have a way to get rid of that zombie token. Maybe they're thinking, oh, I won't want to Amnesia because I won't get to recycle. Which is why Guilt Demon's so good here. Alright. Get to banish their whole discard piles. Their recycle's turned off for them, plus they're playing Zombie Apocalypse. So right now in their hand they have Zombie Apocalypse and Plague. So when this attacks, we're definitely taking it. They're probably going to clear the board here. Like here, I'm pretty overextended. I wouldn't have played the Guilt Demon if I didn't have a lot to gain out of the effect. But I need to use this Amnesia to draw 2 cards. A War Machine actually works pretty nice against random tokens and effects. Yeah. But we'll see. There's Plague, yep. It's interesting that they didn't attack. Probably would have attacked for 9 there. Alright. I really want to banish my discard pile. That is totally fine. We're low on cards, so I'm not going to use Amnesia to recycle. Just in case I recycle and I don't get a real play. Now, one thing that's kind of neat is in Epic, card effects do as much as they can. So if I play this Drain Essence on an empty board, I still get to gain the health. Alright. It's pretty tempting to go for the Steel Golem here. It's very good here. But our opponent does have Zombie Apocalypse in hand. So I'm just going to play this Gudgeon. They're going to probably Zombie Apocalypse to draw 2. I think if I didn't know about the Zombie Apocalypse, I would totally go for the Steel Golem. Alright, they're going to Zombie Apocalypse to draw 2. So now we don't know any of these cards that they have. There's the last of our intel. Alright, I'll be passing it up. So I hold on to my 0-cost Blitz champions. I'm very stingy about my 0-cost Blitz champions. Even though I could get in pretty easily here, I probably don't want to. I probably just want to use these. Basically, if I can hold on to this, then it'll be much better when, yeah, there will be times where I can always guarantee its value. And that's usually what I try to hold it for. Exactly. Got to get the value. I love value. I'm a sucker for it. Alright, Plague Zombies. We're going to have to make a pretty neat play here. Well, I have a couple of options, but we're going to do this. We're going to play Shadow Imp and pass the blockers. We're going to block with the Shadow Imp. Now, Plague Zombies is a really bad card to play against us right now because it puts 3 zombies into play. This turn your zombies get, when this is broken, deal 2 damage to target player. So they are probably deciding right now which player to shoot and realizing that we're untargetable because of the Gudgeon. Yep. It's a little sad. We just accidentally happened to counter this person's zombie deck. Alright, they're going to pass. We could play Helion here. I think we are going to. So we can play Helion, return Shadow Imp to hand, reveal Shadow Imp and another card. I think Reset is the safest card to reveal, since these two other ones are cards we don't want our opponent to know about. I'm going to give Helion Blitz's turn. Then I can kill both of these zombies, and they have to deal 4 damage to themselves. It is, yeah. Gudgeon. Sometimes the Gudgeon, you're far enough behind that, or not behind, but you're low enough on health that you need to use it to block. But when you don't need to use it to block, it's so annoying. The untargetability is just so useful. Alright, I'm kind of tempted to keep this Helion up and not attack with it, because the opponent is on some kind of zombie token plan, but I'm going to do it anyway. And now another thing about revealing Reset is our opponent will think that we have, alright, they're on some kind of balance all of their champions plan, even though we have no 0-cost champions in our hand. Except for this Shadow Imp, which doesn't really count. Alright, oh, Handsome Blow is good there. The real question is, do I attack for 8 or not? I think this is the play. And then just pass. Now if they spend their gold, we can get in for 15 with Steel Golem and Shadow Imp. Yeah, then you're definitely going to like the Gudgeon. Necromancer Lord. I mean, Shadow Imp is the perfect example of that. This card is totally not a problem until it is. You can just ignore it and take 2 damage forever until it's whittled 8 health or so from you. Alright, so our opponent is going to make that play. So here, I think I've mentioned this before, but whenever your opponent passes to you with their gold up, you should probably just let your turn start. There's a couple of times where it's better to make the play, but in this example, they don't get that much value out of Plague. I take a damage and they draw 2, and then now because of that, they're going to take 15 here. Maybe they just really need to draw the cards. I think they choose not to recycle. Yeah, I guess they forgot. Maybe they didn't click properly. All right, that Shadow went back, and let's just show this Reset that they know about. So if we had shown the Steel Golem from the Loyalty 2 on the Helion, they probably wouldn't have made that play there. So I try to not reveal the cards that I think are most punishing. So that's why I'm not showing the Amnesia, and I'm not showing the, I didn't show the Steel Golem. I am probably going to Amnesia them here. I'm not sure why they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If they have Unquenchable Thirst, they can kill Helion with it. Maybe that's what they're saving their recycle for. Alright. I should have probably played that Amnesia more aggressively, since now I don't want to play it. But I'm just going to deal a 13 and then pass. So I don't want to play the Shadow Imp on a board. I usually don't want to play Shadow Imp after my gold has been spent. The main advantage to Shadow Imp is that you can play it and then spend your gold to put it back in your hand, and it just stays in your hand. So it's like Bodyguard or Plentiful Dead that way. We haven't had that many turns this game, but I think all right. So it's just going to be a perfect target for Drain Essence. This is another example where Hasty Retreat would be pretty good. So for example, if I didn't have that Drain Essence, I would consider just drawing 2 and trying to find Hasty Retreat off the top, just because it would let us win next turn. I mean, this attack, what, they would have gone to 11, so I'm not sure if they have maybe another Zombie Apocalypse in hand. Majestic Fear. All right. Gonna make some zombies. So we can't shoot these with Helion, but I think we are going to play Ice Drake and expend all of them. So they can't block this turn. So even though Ice Drake can't attack, sometimes you'll play it during combat, during attackers, so that you can expend a surprise blocker. Alright, and that's the game. Give it another go here. Here we are. Banjo Marks. Alright. Opponent's going first. I really like this Ancient Chant in our opening hand. I'm definitely going to toss Memory Spirit. I don't like cards whose main purpose is to utilize your discard pile in your opening hand, unless you have a very clear line of how you're going to use it. So I'm going to toss Memory Spirit, No Escape, and Steel Golem. I want to find a card to play on my opponent's turn. Little Devil, I think, just because I know I'm going to have a lot of cards in hand with Ancient Chant, I'll just hold on to it. So we are at risk in this hand from, I don't know, Lord of the Arena maybe? Because an Unbreakable Blitz Champion. But that is why we run 1 copy of Wave of Transformation plus the resets. I think that zero-cost champions, they get better. I mean, this is true for all zero-cost cards, but especially zero-cost cards that don't recycle get better the more cards you have in your hand. So generally, the zero-cost cards without recycle can be really strong and force your opponent to spend their gold to deal with them. But you will lose if you run out of cards in hand, or if you can't activate your loyalties. So these cards are really strong when you can get to, 5 or 6 cards in hand consistently at least. Which is why we're running things like Thought Plucker, Ancient Chant, and Memory Spirit. Banjo Marks is considering their mulligan options. There is a timer which is separate from the game timer, which limits the amount of time that you have. So if you take longer than a certain amount of time, I think it's I think after 2 minutes you then get a 1 minute timer. So it's 3 minutes effectively. And for those of you who are playing this game and you think the timers are too short, they are getting increased. So the timers will be, can't run the clock on you. Yeah, for sure. I mean, they could be a little bit annoying, but the other nice thing is that if you were playing a game that wasn't just a random match, but a tournament match, an arena match, and your opponent for some reason was just AFK, then you wouldn't have to sit there for 15 minutes. All right. Well. What? I'm not sure what's happening. The timer's still going. Time to do timed games with friends? Maybe. I guess the feature could definitely be added. I think that usually when I'm playing a game with friends, then we just prefer not to have a timer because that way people can just play. I'm not sure what's happening with the timer here, so I'm just going to concede this match and start a new one. It seemed like the timer went to 0, but then it just kept going. Alright, we're just going to go back and do it. I don't think that opponent is there. Is the idle timer based on inputs? No. Oh, you know what? They may have they may have chosen their mulligans exactly on 0. It's not based on inputs, but it is based on actions. So they may have chosen the mulligan 0 cards right as the timer was hitting 0. The timer is also not, the timer that you're shown is technically different from the actual timer, so it's possible it's a second off or less than a second off. So the opponent may have, I don't know why, but waited until exactly 0 and then chose to keep their entire hand. Maybe they're just trying to troll me. I'm not sure what was up with that. So maybe they didn't even notice and they just kept their hand and then I just conceded. Alright, well, looks like now might be a good time to just do the sealed, to make a sealed deck. So I'm going to do that. Let's see. Come back to this. Go over to the arena. Let's edit our deck. So sealed, basically the arena changes every week. And sometimes it's this format where you get 60 cards and you have to make a deck. Now, this matches the same format as the physical sealed, which means that you're guaranteed to get between 13 and 17 cards of each alignment. And it'll always be 60 cards. So you're never going to have a pool that is, half wild, for example. So what that means is generally I try to look at my cards and it's a combination of good stuff and also what colors do I want to focus. So here, I'm just going to go through. I usually skim and I just start tossing in cards that I probably will play in pretty much any deck. So I like Divine Judgment a lot. It's a card that I'll play in pretty much any deck in sealed because opponents, the board can get out of hand and I don't have a very linear strategy. I'm playing a lot of cards that are just going to be pretty good with my deck. A card like Avenging Angel, I'm likely to play this card, but I'll have to see what else is in my deck. So I like anything that removes champions and gives you advantage. Board clears. This is a card that I might cut, but I'm just going to put it in for now. It banishes all champions, and then if it's the opponent's turn, then they get 4 humans. But usually I'm looking for cards that have a high floor. So in other words, in the worst case scenario, I'm going to do something that's pretty alright. And that's generally because I build my decks for consistency. So I am going to play these 0-cost recycled champions. And the only cards in this pool for good that have synergy with other good cards, Angel of Mercy reanimates a good card every turn. which is great if you have a lot of one-cost good champions, but I only have these four. Chamberlain Kark is going to be tough to pull off because you don't have that many good cards, so Loyalty X is not going to be very good. And the Tribute, I don't think that's ever going to happen. And Noble Martyr is a card that lets you do something from your discard pile. But it's also a card that I'm not very excited about because of how low health it has. I really want some Banish All effects, which I do have, but also some way to synergize with the 5 human tokens. Alright, so we're going to go over to Evil, and let's just put in the cards that, like I said, I think are pretty reasonable in most decks. Necrovirus is great, it's off-turn Break a Champion, and it's usually better to give both players a zombie token than bad, because your zombie token can block a Blitz champion they play. So this is one of the safest ways to remove a champion off turn if you have nothing in play. When you spend your gold first. Rax is great. Even if you don't have loyalty, you get 18 offense for your gold, split among 3 targets. Here we're also probably going to play, we'll probably end up Evil being one of our main colors since we have a lot of good cards that are fine on their own, but if you have loyalty too, they can do a lot more. Wing Death is great because you can frequently get value out of it in these type of sealed decks when someone just plays a big tribute draw card champion, which you see a lot more in something like sealed than you do in draft, in my opinion. Rax's Curse, Spying Demon, and Wither are both going to be great. We have enough 0-cost, 1-cost cards that we can hold on to the Spying Demon until we can pay the 1 health just one time. So it's probably going to be at least 2 4/4s for 0 with Ambush. Alright, and then from here, I want to play Knight of Shadows and Memory Spirit. Basically, I'm avoiding... Juggernaut's okay, but I don't think I'm going to have enough 1-cost cards in Sage. Enough cards in Sage at all, really, to run it. Alright, I'm going to play this Wave Transformation, Amnesia, Arcane Research, Citadel Scholar. Alright, these cards are good because they all use your discard pile. So Recycle, 0-cost champions with Recycle are generally very safe picks in this type of environment. Alright, so I would say from here, I'm going to go back and try and fill out the rest of my deck. So I think it's safe to say I'm pretty heavy evil. So I'll put in this Medusa and also Xanos. I may just decide to run all of my evil cards, and since they're all reasonable cards to play. Alright, so that puts us at 4 cards left. Let's see what we're missing. So as far as events go, the draw 2, we have Amnesia. Rax's Curse is 2. Bitten is 3, Force Exiles 4, Divine Judgment's 5. Kind of all 1 and 3. So I probably just want to fill the rest of my deck with off-turn draw 2s. Oh wow, that was very silly of me. For some reason I just didn't see this other page. Alright, let's go back. Well, we can add these in and we can make cuts. That was silly. I'm going to play Hasty Retreat. I don't think I have enough 1-cost cards to recycle with that. I'm going to play Spike Trap. I just skipped all the wild cards. I just completely missed a color. And some of these other ones. Wow. Alright. Fire Spirit, maybe. Fires of Rebellion. Flame Strike. We can do that. I'm not sure about Savage Uprising. Triceratops is great. Lash is great. Feeding Frenzy. Yeah, it's at least going to be a draw 2 for us, which we need more of. And then from here, I might cut the Rax's Enforcer. I don't know, I have a lot of on-turn plays, and the deal 3 to all of my opponent's champions. I guess it does work really well with Martial Law and Wave Transformation, which we're playing both of. What do I have for ambush champions here? We have Medusa. That's pretty much it. Wow, we have no ambush champions. Alright, I think I'm just going to put this Pyromancer in, and I'm going to cut the Rax's Enforcer. Where is it? And then from here, we have plenty of Blitz champions, so I'm going to decide not to run the Avenging Angel. And then, what else do we have? We might not need Hasty Retreat. He still seems pretty good in this kind of deck. We're very greedy. We like to spend our gold first. We have a lot of board clears. We probably don't need all of them. I think Reaper Sow is the worst one in our deck. So I'm just going to cut it. It doesn't draw 2, and the second option is weaker than choosing than Martial Law's second option. Plus the first option, I prefer to get 5 humans over 4 zombies usually, since you're frequently going to use them to block. Alright, and then let's just cut 2 more here. Nothing too crazy. I don't really have that insane of anything pulling me in a really hard direction. I don't need to play Wave of Transformation. I have Martial Law, and I don't have anything that really synergizes with it, so I think I'm just going to cut the Wave. And I have 2 board wipes right now. And then, let's see, how many evil? I have 12 evil cards, so it's about 1 in 3. So a 7-card hand will have an average of 2 cards in it that I can reveal. So Xanos will be fine. Plus I can play towards it. Just need to cut 1 more card. It might be Memory Spirit, but like I said, Ambush Champions are going to be good in this deck. It might be Flame Strike. But Flame Strike's also quite a nice card to have. Or Reaper maybe. We have a lot of evil cards though, so kind of like the Reaper. Let's just toss the Flame Strike. I mean, I think it's kind of greedy to cut the Flame Strike, but I'm gonna play greedily. Let's do it. All right, our deck's done. Start a run. Join the queue. Are you killing time till a challenge? Yeah, somewhat. I mean, I went to see if there are any other people playing Constructed right now, and I didn't see any immediately, so I just went to make the sealed deck. But if you send me a challenge, I'll play against you right now. Picks in the air. Or anyone else. Sounds good. I mean, I did spend a while making that deck there, so it's possible people have re-entered the queue. I could do quick play, but I do prefer playing Constructed generally, and we made a new deck, so I think it would be fun to get a couple more games in with that. Dark Draft is also good, but like you said, I don't know if it was you or there's just a lot of people playing Dark Draft, so I like doing Constructed content, and then I can maybe highlight this deck. Alright. This is true. Don't forget. If you can kind of see when I flick through, over to the stream. I guess like the lighting changes completely. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just gonna go check. Constructed. Go play the bounce deck. See if we can get a good no escape this game. We put no escape in our deck because we wanted to get value out of no escape with by breaking a champion on our turn and getting back a 0-cost champion, but last game the game ended really. Commander? Not really. Well, okay, so there is something in the physical product. There's something called the gods and demigods, and so each of them have like an ability that you can use. So the demigods, they each function differently. So the demigods are designed to be played either you play against another one or you play against 2 other players. All right, I'm thinking the demigods. Anyway, the one that I'm thinking of, and I'm not sure which what the name of it is necessarily, but they are. We're gonna hold on to the Gudgeon and Amnesia because Amnesia is a draw too. Anyway, my favorite one is the one that was in Pantheon, and the way that those work is you have an ability you can spend your gold on. So each of the characters have a way that they can spend their gold to do something, and also you have a very specific deck list basically, and you can use a different deck list, but the deck lists are there so that people can just crack them open and play. And when you can, aside from just spending your gold in your ability, each of the characters also has an ally ability that activates when you play a card of your color. I think it's of either of your 2 colors. There's a different ally ability for each one. And then there's also this rule where if you don't spend your gold for the turn in that mode, then it carries over. But you can't have more than one. You can't have more than 2 gold. Anyway, it's a very strange mode, very different. It's a lot like, yeah, exactly. It's a lot like Commander in that you have different abilities, but it's not like there's a game mode where you can have a champion that you can, or another type of card that you can just keep playing, which is basically how Commander works. Alright, so let's just think about their deck for a second. So they're on a Resurrection Royal Escort plan, so my guess is that they're really trying to use Misguide Herald a lot. That seems to be their game plan. We're going to play a Stop Blocker, though, just because it's too good not to play in this situation. But my guess is with Royal Escort, they're running some kind of Necromancer Lord deck. Basically, Royal Escort makes it so that you have to get rid of Royal Escort first. So your other champions have a targetable. So you can Royal Escort plus Necromancer Lord. You can even bring the Royal Escort back with Necromancer Lord and then protect it because the Royal Escort keeps the Necromancer Lord protected. These decks also usually run Angel of Mercy, which is the good card that reanimates one of your good champions every turn. So for example, if they discard a good champion there and then on my turn played Angel of Mercy, they would get to put it back into play, and I wouldn't be able to get rid of Angel of Mercy because of this Royal Escort. Yeah, but there's different types of God cards, and they all do different things. Alright. That's fine. Now, one problem Good has is it doesn't have any cards that deal with champions that have a small amount of health. So, they might have a hard time dealing with Thought Plucker. They might have to spend a gold to do it. I did say that these decks are frequently also evil, but we haven't seen any evil cards at all. So these are the 4 that there was the Misguide Herald 4 that got shown, and the 2 that they just banished. Well, there's an evil card. But they would have to be running a lot of evil cards to run Necromancer Lords, so they might just be running Drain Essence and Final Task. or just Drain Essence. Alright, I'm gonna make a guess here. I think they're running Drain Essence Final Task, and they want to play Brave Squire, so they can Brave Squire their thing they Final Tasked. And then they're also playing Avenging Angel. I think those are all in our opponent's deck here. This is a time where I'm sad I don't have removal for this Misguide Herald, because this is a pretty good turn to reset. I probably will end up resetting this turn, but our opponent will get both of these cards back in their hand. This is a type of situation where Helion would be really helpful. Let's see. Yeah, I probably want to play reset this turn. Well, let's see. I mean, I could just play Gudgeon. Pass. But reset lets me, banish both of these. Let's go for the reset. It's a good turn to play it. Don't really need to draw two right now. Banish both of our opponent's cards. I'm going to do Guilt Demon first so that the recycle is turned off in case they have some kind of recycle answer to one of these cards. Guilt Demon will always, as long as you attack with Guilt Demon as soon as you play it, you'll always get to banish two before your opponent can do anything. It'll be interesting to see if they block with Misguide Herald here. They're not going to. I wonder what that means. I wonder if they're also some kind of bounce deck. That'd be kind of funny. We're going to be drawing a lot of cards here. Probably discarding a Gudgeon at least. Right now we're going to, 8 in hand? Yeah, 8 in hand. I mean, yeah, I can just discard a Gudgeon. Don't need, I'm going to get in for 2. I've decided. Changed my mind. Don't have any loyalty 2 cards in hand, so. A lot of these decks have really struggled to deal with these type of champions, so I think I'm just going to be aggressive with it. Save my Guilt Demons for value. Try and keep the opponent off of recycles and Angel of Mercies. That Royal Escort that we returned to hand might give them an extra card in hand, but I think it's going to be really hard for them to play because it's just going to be such a weak play against our deck that Royal Escort in hand will probably just get discarded to maximum hand size at some point. Alright, they are running Corpsemonger. Alright, and Erase and Erratic Research. Maybe they're on a similar deck to us. That would be interesting. Alright. No, I guess it's just Memory Spirit, get back Reset. Not too exciting since that has 7 health. We'll see. Can make something work. There's so many cards in hand. Oh man. Alright. Well. I don't even want to Guilt Demon. I could Guilt Demon and swing this group. Just doesn't seem very good. Well, I'm gonna go for it. Let's see, what if I just do this instead? We'll see what their opponent does. Get back the Thought Blocker. If they just pass here and start their turn, then that's fine. I'll just discard probably the 2 Gudgeons, since we have plenty of cards in hand. Alright, they are going to play Angel of Mercy. So we're going to attack for 5 first, and then we're going to use our Guilt Demon. Probably just play it, and then banish the Angel of Light and pass. I mean, we could also get the Shadow Imp out, but I think I'm fine without doing that. I think a Guilt Demon is a difficult card to play around. I'm just going to discard one of these Gudgeons. We don't need both of them. I think it's very unlikely we end up playing both Gudgeons this game. Maybe not unlikely we would play both Gudgeons, but unlikely that both Gudgeons will actually be useful. Yep, there's the Avenging Angel. So, what do we want to do about this? It's probably wave time. Reset would have also been pretty funny, but I think this is better. Just to get those off the table forever. And the funny thing is, these decks actually, this type of deck I'm playing right now, it always constantly pressures, but one of its main weaknesses, in my opinion, are health gain decks, because it just can't provide the same amount of raw output consistently that a wild heavy deck could, for example. So your game plan frequently revolves around try to get the opponent's health really low, and then they're under pressure the entire game because they don't want to pass and then or spend their gold first and then just die basically. So it's just something that this deck, or not necessarily this deck, but decks that have a lot of health gain in them can avoid, because they always usually will stay somewhere around the 20 to 30 range. I need to be doubly untargetable. Yeah. I mean, having two Gudgeons out isn't actually that bad, because it really protects you against Amnesia and Heinous Feast really well, banishing your discard pile. But I don't think we're going to need to draw two again. We can get back the other one with Corpse Taker if we want. We have 5 0-cost cards. Alright. Sounds good. We're going to play something and attack. I think that thing is going to be Little Devil. We know our opponent's deck has Inheritance of the Meek in it, so I'm going to be playing around Inheritance of the Meek this turn. On our opponent's turn. I can double check that, but I'm pretty sure it has Inheritance in it. Well, I guess we haven't seen any yet. Maybe it's because they're all in our opponent's hand. Alright, we're up against Grip. But yeah, I'm just going to take this 4. See if they pass to us. Now we have 6 damage on board, and then reset puts these back in our hand and kills the tokens. So this is a really heavy board advantage for our side. And you know, we have this reset. One of the other things about this type of deck is against really good players, your opponent will know so many of the cards in your hand just from them going back to your hand. Alright. In general, damage to our opponent is going to be less valuable than damage to us because they are going to heal more than we are. We're not playing Second Wind, for example. Alright, sounds good to me. Like I said, if your opponent ever passes to you, and you both have your gold up, then it's usually right just to start your turn. Or play a 0-cost card and pass back. That's clear all cost champions. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, Inherits the Meek. Inherits the Meek banishes all champions that aren't tokens. So it actually banished both of our champions. And it's draw 2 or banish all champions, all non-token champions. If it's your opponent's turn, they draw a card. Alright. So if they had it right now, they could still play it. But we would draw a card. I mean, I have so many cards in hand, I'm just gonna be more aggressive. I'm not gonna play around it too hard. If they want to inherit the Meek here, then that's also fine. Now the real question is, do I want to also Guild Team in? Kind of do. I think we have so many cards in hand that even if this whole thing gets inherited to Meek, we'd still be at 7. I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to hold on to all my zeros. Get back that. Reset. And then we don't want to attack into something. That would be bad for us. So I will attack with this Shadow Imp probably, since it's unblockable. And then we're going to discard this Ancient Chant to maximum hand size for sure, since it does something in our discard pile. I'm just going to pass here and see what our opponent does. We can still play these 0-cost splits champions and attack with them. Alright, they're going to play Noble Unicorn. So if they want to get rid of their own Noble Unicorn, I'm fine with that. So I'm also going to play this Little Devil and attack with it. Don't expect them to banish all champions with a Noble Unicorn in play, unless they have Quell, which banishes all 0-cost champions, and you draw a card. Alright, and then we're just going to discard 2 and discard our Ancient Chant, one of our Gudgeons. Noble Unicorn's a very powerful card in the good archetype, so whenever you play a good card, you get to draw a card. So you play it and you draw a card right away. Usually you play it on your opponent's turn when their gold is down, and then whenever you play another good card, you draw another card. That deck that I was playing yesterday probably would not have done well against this type of deck. I think it would really struggle against this type of deck. Generally, your 0-cost cards, certain decks like this good one have a really tough time answering them. And also, depends on what your opponent's doing, but bouncing all can sometimes be really strong or okay, depending on what you're playing against. So if your opponent has Strafing Dragons, then it doesn't really do all that much, because you're still going to take a lot of damage from it. Alright. I'm going to draw a card here first, just in case I drew that Hasty Retreat, I'd be able to block. Oh, I guess it doesn't actually matter if I got Hasty Retreat, because this champion gives the Noble Unicorn untargetable. But if I got a Guild Demon, I might play 2 Guild Demons and double block. Since we know they don't have any 0-cost ways to get rid of our things. Alright. Taking 6. Now, evasive champions are key in this type of deck. The reason I'm playing Little Devil instead of Dark Knight is because Dark Knight here wouldn't be able to attack through that Royal Escort. But because all of our champions are evasive, basically, we can just attack with each of them, even if our opponent has things in play. They're probably going to play a good card here just to draw a card and also gain 3 health. This game is probably going to cause them to time out. I don't think they have enough time left to win here. They're going to gain a lot of health, but sure, okay. Maybe there's some kind of carp deck because they have a lot of health gain. So I think that was a mistake there, what they just did. Because now I get to play all my zero cost champions again, and then, I mean, I guess they don't know that I have this reset. So maybe they're playing as though I don't have it. All right. I guess from a Thought Plucker. We don't want a second Gudgeon. We're not really using these Gudgeons very much. Maybe they should be Reapers. Alright. We did use... It was very good the first 2 times we played it. Now it's just old hat. Yeah, it's gonna be 10 minutes longer, so it'll be 25 minutes for each player. Alright. Go back Thought Plucker. Play Force Mage, deal 2 damage to them. Play Reset. Play a Little Devil. I'm just going to keep attacking them forever. Alright. What do you want to play this or not? I guess so. We might be walking into a Banish All here, but if they want to Banish All our 2 zero cost champions, that's probably fine. And then discard a maximum hand size. I think we definitely want keep Ice Drake. Probably don't need Plague. I think we're going to discard the board wipe and Gudgeon. I mean, we also don't need Amnesia, but I like having multiple sources of discard, and if they really wanted to, they could get rid of Guild Demon. They're just not doing it so that they don't randomly get killed by these zero cost attacking champions. I don't even know if they should be worried about Thought Plucker. They have plenty of things to discard. Alright. Maybe they're just going to Avenging Angel and swing in. Just hope for the best. Alright, they're going to break all. That's fine. Interesting. Playing this Force Mage Apprentice, presumably because if I bounce everything, then it'll go back to their hand. We could do something like that. I think it's a good, at least right now, to have there be as few queues as possible. So the random queue will just be the same, but I know that a lot of people have been struggling with timeouts, so I think that it's best to go up to 25 now. You don't want to go up to 20 and then have it turn out that people are still looking to have the time go up. So there'll still be the turn timer. So you definitely need to do things. It's just about experience if games frequently end in timeouts. They don't frequently end in timeouts right now, but they definitely do end in timeouts. Yeah. That's why right now it's all timer games are just going to be 25 minutes per player instead. Interesting. Kind of just want to attack here and not Force Mage Apprentice these yet. See what the opponent does. If they really want to play a Sage card to prepare this and kill this, then that's fine. They have to spend their gold. And I can get in with Steel Golem. Alright. Interesting play here. I actually would have erased Priestess of Angeline. then prepared this Force Mage and used it to kill the Thought Plucker. Then we have this, and let's just show them the amnesia, I guess. They're already playing around graveyard discard pile interaction because we have Grave Demon revealed. I mean, not Grave Demon, Guilt Demon. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just to feel bad. All right, let's just go for it. I think we can just win. Not let them gain any more health. All right, we got them. So I think that the games will be much faster. Let me just cancel this challenge here. Oh, there was a game that started a while ago, but he took a turn much later than when I started it, so yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially for random 30, where a lot of the players in the random 30 are there because they want to play, they want to learn what the cards do. So, all right, opponent's going first. So we don't want the Steel Golem or this Keeper of Secrets. We probably don't want No Escape or Guilt Demon. All right, that was easy. You can keep our draw too. You don't want Guilt Demon because it banishes cards in the discard pile, so it's much better on turn 2 or 3 where you are eating 2 cards and then also adding something to the board. It's a lot like Little Devil. This is our littler devil. Littler demon. Ooh, blue dragon. That's exciting. Alright, we really want another Sage card here, so we can kill that with Force Mage Apprentice. We really want any Sage 1-cost card. Womp womp. We can do it. Let's just top deck, I don't know, some Sage 1-cost card. No, that's not it. Alright, I guess I'm playing the Gudgeon. It's kind of sad here, but I think we still have to do it anyway. It's sad for a couple of reasons, because it's going to die to the blue dragon and because we're already at 7 in hand. But I don't think we should board clear here, and I don't want to play a 0-cost champion. Probably they'll play a Sage card, kill this Gudgeon, and then we will Shadow Imp and attack with it. Just get something out there. Gudgeon, Littlest Devil, true. Alright, so, ooh, that was fancy. The Thought Plucker makes an opponent discard a card and you draw a card as the tribute. But if you're untargetable, you don't discard a card, basically, for the first time the tribute happens. But when they played it, they did their ally ability to deal 2 damage to the Gudgeon, then their tribute, so that I still have to discard a card, basically. Alright, well, this Plague or Zombie Apocalypse might be really handy. I'm not sure what I want to do. Alright, let's think about this. So when my opponent attacks me, that's what they're going to do right away. What's my plan? Probably it's going to be to play Zombie Apocalypse. So let's just let's hold on to one of those. And then discard the other one. Yeah. Yeah, so you can order your tributes, loyalty twos, allies in any order you want. It's not like in Magic you have to choose all of your targets basically at the same time. Interesting. Playing it at the end of my turn. It's actually very good for us. I think what I would do in their situation was start my turn, attack with Thought Plucker, pass. Shadow Imp. The problem with playing Shadow Imp here is it's really weak to me just playing any kind of board clear effect. But maybe this is just, maybe they have some kind of sage card they can play first. Alright. Maybe they're going to take advantage of their 3 zombies. They're going to blow me out with, I don't know, Demonic Uprising, the Risen. Army of the Apocalypse. I would just get a gudgeon. It was definitely tempting to try and Guild Demon block and then Plague just to kill both and leave the Shadow Imp. Alright. I'm actually just going to take it here. I could toss the Guild Demon in the way, but I don't really want to. I want to keep the Guild Demon. Guild Demon is going to do work for us. I really need to find a reset or a Time Walker though. Or those two. Alright, in general we want to trade tokens for tokens. We're going to do that most of the time. Yeah, it's true, yeah. It's like you're activating an ability. That one definitely gets people. It's just a break all scenario. Opponent is playing very tempo-like. But we're so far ahead in cards in hand that I just want to break all and then pass. We're very far ahead in cards in hand. I'm just going to do that. See what the opponent does about that. They need to recover cards in hand. They can't just keep playing things. Probably just going to draw 2 right now. I kind of wanted to save that because it is our only draw 2, and also the deal 1 damage to player in each champion they control could be very good if they play Thought Plucker again. But this Force Mage Apprentice will probably just handle any Thought Pluckers that we see. Alright, they're going to Helion, Loyalty 2 to give it. Oh, alright, no Loyalty 2. Well, that makes Guild Demon a lot worse. They're playing some kind of ping deck with Blue Dragon and Helion. Lots of effects that deal 2 damage. They probably also have Force Mage Apprentice in there. Alright. I'm thinking about playing Little Devil and attacking. I'm going to do that. I think what we're going to do is they are going to attack, and then we'll play Shadow Imp and block with Shadow Imp, and then play Helion to return the Shadow Imp to hand before damage. So that way we don't take any damage from it. One thing about this deck is I feel like you get punished. Is this the mirror? Maybe. I think they're on a different game plan though. I don't think they're playing Frost Giant, Spike Trap, Blue Dragon. I think they're just playing Helion for the deal 2 damage each of up to 2 targets, and not for the gain control, which we are also doing, but I don't know. We're doing it to deal with annoying 2 health things. I think they're trying to just add as many deal damage to a target effects as they can, so that if I'm attacking with my 7 offense thing, they can Spike Trap and use Helion's ability or something. I think that's their game plan. Are we dead? I don't know how we would be dead. Whenever someone just plays Force Mage Apprentice and shoots me, I just assume that they have lethal. You know, that's true. We have devils in all sizes. They just have blue cards. That's their problem. They're on the mono Sage plan. They probably are definitely playing that Loyalty X Sage card, which I always forget the name of. What's his name? I always forget the name of that guy. Alright. Interesting play here. They played this Force Mage Apprentice first, it looks like, in case I played a zombie token or something and blocked, and then they could play a Sage Event to prepare this and shoot the blocker. I think that's why they did that. Oh, we also have a Helion who's getting dominated now. Alright, we're gonna reveal... Keeper Secrets is most likely to be played next turn. I think we're just gonna reveal that. And the real question is, do we want to use it? I think that we should. I think we might get blown out if we don't. I have 0-cost champions that I can toss in the way of a Steel Golem or something like that. So I'm not too worried about that. I am worried about a random... If I don't make this play, then they might have a Blitz champion. And then they can, like exactly what I was just saying, bounce this to my hand, attack me for 10. And then shoot my ambush blocker with it. No, I usually swing with Helion. I mean, it deals 8 damage to the opponent if it hits them. So usually, like in this scenario, when my turn starts, I'm just going to attack with Helion. Unless my opponent plays something bigger than it. I probably, if I was them, I don't know what else is in their hand, but I probably would have just attacked with Helion and not played Force Mage Apprentice. And then if I don't block, then just pass. Right, there's the Frost Giant. We're going to have to choose what to lose here. It's probably going to have to be Guild Demon, unfortunately. Let's get rid of Blue Dragon. I don't really know what they're... Maybe I should have gotten rid of Spike Trap, but... We have the mini levels. This is our mini... Mini? What's the word for medium small? I don't know. Alright. We're going to start the turn. We really need a bounce all here. Alright, we are probably in a very bad spot. We can recall this Ancient Chant, but it's a pretty weak play. I think we have to make it though, since we don't have any other plays to make. Yeah, it's not a good spot. I think we have to recall Ancient Chant and then pass that attacking. Could attack first. I'm not going to win this race. So I want to make sure that my opponent spends their gold to draw 2 before I attack. And I also have to figure out my blocks here. I think this is probably getting Drain Essence. Alright, they're just going to race their own Frost Titan. Interesting play. I definitely would have erased my Helion there, but it does mean that I would get to basically survive another turn, so that's the main drawback. But that being said, I can just block all day. Definitely going to attack. We need to attack to win, so they're also going to sacrifice their 0-cost champion. So actually, it really paid off not attacking, because otherwise they could have Shadow Imp, block, play erase, and then bounce their Frost Giant, I guess, and the Shadow Imp would be safely in hand. I'm going to play that as a blocker. Also to get some recycle value out of this Ancient Chant. If they just attack with this, I will play Shadow Imp, block with Shadow Imp, and then Arcane Ancient Chant to draw 2, recycle, and then return Shadow Imp to hand. So I hope they just attack here and then let me play my Shadow Imp. That would be ideal. It's not too bad if they just play Frost Giant though and attack with Frost Giant. Majestic Fear. Very intimidating name. Very murderous necromancy. None of our cards have been banished yet. I've only played these 8 cards this game. I guess we've also played Ancient Chant. It's 9 cards. It's funny how back and forth can be just a few turns, but there's still a lot of time passing because people are really tanking about which decision to make. Alright, so it wasn't ideal, but we're just going to have to chump with this Shadow Imp here. I don't think we can take 8. What would that bring us to? 6? It's just too low. So hopefully they don't have a Siren Song or something. We would just lose if they did. We wouldn't lose, but I guess we could go to 15. Oh, well, I'm already committed. Yeah, for sure. It is strange. Alright, let's just do that right now so they can't use the ability to shoot. Yeah, we definitely don't need Shadow Imp, but the ability to infinitely chump is very useful. Just chump forever. Alright, well, I'm going to come in for 8. See if they're probably going to take this 8 here. Maybe erase it. We might want to erase in our deck. We do seem to be struggling with card draw a bit. But at the same time, once we got that going last game, we were perfectly fine. So it's possible that it doesn't really work that way with this deck. Ooh. Yes, I will recycle. Let's do that right now. I guess we have Memory Spirit in our deck, so let's get rid of one of these champions, just in case we want one of those other events. There it is, Memory Spirit. Speak the devil. I know, right? Murderous Necromancer. I don't know, maybe there should be another avatar that people get for free, so it's not just everyone playing with Murderous Necromancer. Let's get a little silly. Sometimes I even see people that have other avatars, but they just keep it the same. Alright. Oh wow, they don't have a play to make. That's a good sign for us. Well, this Gudgeon is going to do some chump blocking. Probably. Unless they have another, what's it called? Unless they have another frost. Oh, they can't frost giant us because we're untargetable. Man, the Gudgeon's great. Oh man. Look like an 80s hair metal. Yeah. Oh man, he's rocking. He's even got an instrument with him. Alright, top blocker. We don't discard a card because we have Gudgeon in play. Tribute does say target opponent discards a card. I'm going to play Shadow Imp, alright. This is why I wanted to not take too much damage, because we're going to take random untargetable damage from stuff like that. Yep. The real question is, do I want a Memory Spirit or Ancient Chant? It's a little tricky. Drain Essence is pretty nice here for just gaining some health. But Ancient Chant draws us 4 cards because we get to recycle Ancient Chant. It's pretty good. What would we get back? Yeah, I'm not really in a rush. Let's just Ancient Chant. I'm going to recycle Ancient Chant and this. What do I want to Murderous Necromancer? I mean, not Murderous Necromancer. I probably would want Guild Demon over Little Devil. Forget the name of it. Alright, so we recycle from the ally ability, and then when Ancient Chant leaves your discard pile, you draw another card. So we just drew 4 with Ancient Chant. Quite nice here. I'll probably block with the Gudgeon here. Oh, no attacks, huh? Interesting. Unusual. I'm going to deal 2 damage to 2 targets. Shoot both of those. Finish that off. And then attack for 2. We probably have control of this game now. Last turn they didn't even have an off-turn play. We just went from 4 cards in hand to 8. And we have a lot of 0-cost options as well, so I don't see us having any problems with this game for the rest. Alright. Let's just go all in on this bounce all right here. I mean, this Time Walker, we actually got Time Walker. This is the first game we've drawn our Time Walker. It's going to be quite nice here. Oh wait, cancel that. Let's shoot them for 2 as well. Time Walker, we'll recycle first. Recycle, I don't know. We'll see the Drain Essence. Let's just do these 2, I guess. Don't let them know about the reset. Alright, we just got a whole lot of cards back. I think we just want to pass. Don't really just want to blindly attack with Little Devil. But at the same time, they didn't have a play last turn, so I'm just going to assume that they don't have another play to make. They might get hit by like a Ice Drake or something, but we could shoot it down with Force Mage. Alright, we're very close to lethal. We have 4 damage in hand. But discard 4 to hand size. The one thing about this deck is it's so hard to decide what to discard to maximum hand size. I'm just going to play Keeper of Secrets. And then pass and discard some cards. I mean, if they have a Break All effect, or Break All Champions, they probably want to use it to draw 2 right now. So it would be, if they would have had to just draw it. Alright, they're going to Psionic Assault us, so we have to discard 2 at the end of a turn. We already have to discard 2 at the end of a turn. Alright, let's just get rid of that forever. We could attack for 2, but I don't think it's relevant. Alright, and then we will, in fact, be discarding 3 cards. So we're going to discard Gudgeon. I don't know about reset. I think we need Helion in hand. Probably just everything but Helion. Alright, yeah, Gudgeon plus Memory Spirit. Discard. I mean, Thoughtblocker is actually pretty good against them right now. Just discard the reset. Even though it's what our deck does, so to speak, it's just better to hold on to action cards. Maybe we don't need both these Corpse Takers. I could have just played one. As just a don't have this be in my hand type of card. What's neat about Zombie Apocalypse is sometimes you can just play it as a give yourself a ton of zombies. So here, what would it be? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we just played Zombie Apocalypse, like if they played Apocalypse, we could play Zombie Apocalypse and then have 7 zombies. Alright. I guess Little Devil's dying. They're gonna play Frost Giant again. Steel Golem, alright. Don't actually know what I'm gonna do in that X. I guess I'll just double block with Time Walker and Helion. Yeah. Yep. Let's recycle. I'm not going to use the ability, so this way if they attack, I can block with both and then kill the Force Mage. Well, the artist is actually written in the bottom right of the card. If you look at the card art, it says who it was illustrated by. Some artists prefer not to have their full name, but basically we have some illustration credit in the bottom right of each of the cards. Alright, let's see. Alright, they're just going to skip it up. Yeah. Alright. What time is it? Alright, well I think that's going to end our stream for tonight. There were some good games. I think this deck was interesting. It ended up doing even better than I expected. I think this is, I've had a couple of iterations of this deck. I think I really like 2 Corpse Takers. They can get stuck in your hand, you don't want a lot in your hand. And we have plenty of nice off-turn plays. Same with Memory Spirits. If you have multiple Memory Spirits in your hand, they can get stuck in your hand. But cards like Steel Golem, Thought Plucker are really easy to just play at any time. War Machine's another conditional card. You don't want multiple in your hand without anything to banish. Plus, this deck's already so good against token decks with Reset and Time Walker, both as 3-ofs. You don't need to be playing extra cards to be good against tokens. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to put all the deck lists up on Facebook. I'm probably on the fan page. I'm thinking on Sunday is when I'll do that, and I'll put up the bounce deck along with the soldier deck and the other decks I've played on stream. So there's a Sage Beatdown one, and there was also a wild deck which I have to dig up. I may have written over it, but I'll find it. Anyway, I guess we'll be wrapping up the stream here, and I'll be back on Monday.